Welcome to the Knowledge Boner Podcast, guys. We are now on episode 14. I'm your host, Dylan Starr, with my co-host, WinWin. Wally, how's it going, bud?
What up, Knowledge Boners?
We still got to figure that out. What to call you guys? Knowledge Boner Society.
KBs?
KBs? No, we still haven't gotten feedback from that, guy. Somebody message us. Let us know a good term. Help us out. It'd be awesome. So, Wally's been kind of engaged in the Reddit community and finding some topics that you guys want to hear about. And what's the topic going to be today that you found, Wally?
So one of the things is, obviously it's /r something, right? So a lot of the ones I've been in is entrepreneur ride along, and the other one is entrepreneur, and then another one being small business. And those three, seem to be pretty active subs. So if you guys ever want, to check out some other entrepreneurs and see what the heck they're up to, go check out those subs. But anyway, so I've been circling through there, and there's a lot of questions that come up over and over again. And what I mean by that is I've had to go in there and I've commented the same answer over and over and over again, which is kind of interesting. And one of the big ones that come up is it seems to be a pretty common issue, is how to find someone to do business with. Like, what do you look for? What kind of people are they? How do you know this person is not going to screw you over? That kind of stuff, right?
It's a good topic. How to find a business partner. Okay. Yeah, man, I followed a lot of experts on this. I've seen tons of videos, and the most successful people that I have seen all say the same thing, that really finding a business partner should be treated like a marriage. It's most people get excited and you want to kind of just dive all in, but in reality, just like as you were to date a partner, you would see their qualities, who they are as a person, whether they're trustworthy, and then then later you decide to marry them. So you wouldn't just jump to somebody and be like, hey, let's get married, right? So it's kind of the same thing, because when you get in business, as me and Wally know this very well, as anybody, everyone listening to this, you will get fucked over in your lifetime. Like, you're going to have business partners that you do stuff with on the side, and they're going to fuck you over, and they're going to fuck you hard. It's part of it. So you can't look at it as a bad thing. You can't, take it as a learning experience. Just realize it's going to happen. And if you do realize it's going to happen, then you expect it. I think, one of the things, that works well with me and Wally is, we're also different personality types. So, if you're deciding to get into business with somebody, everyone has strengths and weaknesses. And I think we kind of counteract each other's strengths and weaknesses really well. And that's what you want to look for in somebody else. So, let's say you're a really strong introvert. And
so wait, real quick, but let's, Dylan, what's your personality type for everybody?
Well, so when it comes to personality types, I know a lot of you guys listening, you're going to be like, what the fuck does that mean? There's different types of personality tests out there. There's, type A's and type B's and stuff like that. And then we just learned a different system model off of GEMS. So I'm not going to delve too much into that, but definitely type A. And in gym form, a Ruby, which basically means I'm very competitive. I'm also,
and the Myers-Briggs is the one that people normally go by.
Yeah. So ENTP, extroverted. Oh, fuck, I don't even remember, what does the N stand for? Do you remember, Wally?
It's intuitive. Extroverted, intuitive, thinking, and you said P?
EN,
right?
Yeah, TP. ENTP.
Okay, so P is perceptive. So extroverted, intuitive, thinking, and perceptive.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm very, definitely analytical, but I'm also extroverted. What were you, Wally?
I'm ENTJ. So we only differ on the last letter. And so the difference is I'm a judger and you're a perceiver.
Okay. Wally is a judger. He's judge and jury. He'll throw you to the damn, throw you in the cell. That's funny. But yeah, so there are different tests out there. I know down the board, hands down, if you're listening to this and you really want to know like kind of what your personality type is in college, it's funny, when I took this class in college, actual entrepreneurs that are successful use this same book. And it was, you remember the Leadership 2.0? Did you ever take that class, read that book? Yeah. Yep. So if you guys get that book, just literally go and type in Leadership 2.0. They have an online website, and there's a test that you can take. If you get the book, you actually take the test for free. It's a great book. It goes into like leadership qualities and skills, and it actually would tell you what your top 5 strengths and your top 5 weaknesses are. So that's very important. So like mine's like responsibility, competitiveness, etc. I have to double check. I haven't checked it in a while. But you kind of know what your strengths are, and you want to surround yourself with other people that fill in your weaknesses. So if you know there's an area where you're really weak on, it doesn't really make sense to waste a lot of time focusing on that. You want to find a business partner who has what your weaknesses are, so that there's that balance. You think of one of the wealthiest men in the world, Warren Buffett. He found Charlie Munger. They're not the same personality type, but they complement each other really well. And that was one of the best business decisions that they ever made. And they will tell you, Warren Buffett will tell you, I couldn't have done it without Charlie. And Charlie will tell you he could not have done it without Warren Buffett. They just couldn't do it. So finding the right business partner long-term is a big deal, especially if it's going to be a long-term mutual relationship. Now, doing business on the side with somebody, that's different, like JVs, stuff like that. Just making money in terms of looking over that is kind of just trial and error. Some people, maybe they'll screw you, maybe they won't. But so, I think that's a little different. I mean, what's your opinion on it?
On someone on joint ventures specifically?
No, just on
or just in business partners in general.
Yeah,
I got you. So there's always, when it comes to business partners, there's always like indicators of like yes or no, right? So always when you meet somebody, like the way they present themselves when they first meet you is obviously the way they want you to see them, right? So what's the easiest way for you to find out, what that person's really like? Okay, so you ask them, or you talk to them, and you find out they were in other businesses. Well, you got to ask them. You got to figure out, what happened in those old businesses, right? Because the story they tell you may not be the actual thing that happened. It might have been something that's their fault. It might have been someone else's fault. But anyway, the point is that people have their own stories about what happened. So you have to be ultra aware of someone who's a partner who's also like prone to jumping to different things. Like, for example, if you see them and you can like pinpoint like different locations in the last like year or two where they've had different sets of business partners, you can say, okay, that person's probably not loyal, so you probably shouldn't do business with them, or at least wait it out, buff them a little bit, vet them a little bit. So there's always little indicators that you can point out when it comes to dealing with people in business, where you can say, okay, like, this would weed them out, or this would be, or the best one would be, what, this person has been doing business with this client for like 10 years. Okay, so that person's loyal, so that might be a good person to do business with, right? So just really looking and kind of dissecting the environment of that person, because obviously if you're thinking about doing business with someone, it is almost like a relationship. You're going to be around each other a lot. You're going to interact a lot, and one of the easiest ways to tell if you can even do business with somebody is are you okay having a beer with that person? So if you're stuck in an airport and you guys are stuck in an airport bar and you got to be there for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days, are you guys okay just sitting down at a bar and having a conversation next to each other? And if you can't, then that's an issue.
Yeah, definitely. Well, then there's a trust factor too. I know, like, we Wally do a lot of stuff together. I mean, Wally has a lot of my passwords. I mean, hell, he even has passwords to my Stripe account I've given him in the past. I think my fucking PayPal. Never does it ever cross my mind that, oh no, Wally's gonna fuck me someday. You may be listening to this, but you're giving your passwords to a guy that used to be a drug dealer. Like, what the hell?
It's funny.
It's like, yeah, but when you get to know somebody, not just off their like past actions, but you can tell when somebody's trustworthy or not, or you can see red flags, right? I think there are always like red flags that people can tell, where you just kind of see like something's a little off, right? Like you just kind of have your body has this strange guard up and you can't really tell why. If that ever happens, I definitely would say be cautious. But I mean, I think I've had so many experiences with that. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I've had quite a few, partners in the past.
So,
So,
I guess let's flip it a little bit and let's say, Dylan, what would you say is the biggest red flag? So let's flip it on its head and say, you know what do you not want to have in a business partner?
yeah. Well, definitely if you're with somebody and you see them, if you ever see somebody that you're working with kind of badmouth other people and kind of like screw them over. Like I can honestly say in the two people that I've had a bad relationship with closely, they had a very similar trait. And it was when it came to other people, they kind of had like a I don't give a shit about them attitude, right? It's just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but if it doesn't pan out, like, fuck them. Didn't no regards for how they felt about anything, and that was kind of one of my first like warning signs. They were cool with me, but when I saw how they interacted with other people, especially on the very get go basis, like just meeting someone, how kind of like ruthless they were, that was a very big warning. And then definitely integrity. A guy that I worked with, we were selling a product, and that product and service actually wasn't able to be used to the clientele. So I said, I stopped and said, like, hey, we need to kill this. It's not working out. And he just wanted to make money. So he did not care at all, about the fact of the value to the client of them being able to use this product, like at all. So, to me, that was a very, warning side of integrity. I was just like, man, like he's literally just about making money. No regard for people whatsoever. So I think it's really, I don't want to do business with anyone that doesn't have integrity. That's number one. That's, call it a military thing, but morals, to me, that's very important. Like, to me, it's never really about the money. I think that everyone should have like some kind of moral high ground of principles that they follow and adapt to. Like, you're a good person. You're not about like screwing people over. You don't just care about, wealth. People are people too. You should always be, proud of what you deliver and care about people. So if they don't do that, and they show like kind of those early warning signs of like, like not really giving a crap about people, I personally don't like doing business with them. There are different people with personality types out there that don't care, that are just like, I'll do it. Like, money's money. But then I also think later down the road, they'll get screwed, right? Everyone shows their true color. So I think you just have to be picky early. What about you?
No, I agree with that. I think, somebody said this, and I don't know where it is. I think it's in Think and Grow Rich, but I think it applies, and I really like embodied this for myself too. Is I don't like to participate in any kind of transaction, deal, or contract that's not at least a win-win.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people where, a lot of people I used to do business with that were very cutthroat in the sense of like they would 100% want you to lose. Like they, in fact, that the way that they negotiate is only for you to lose. Like, and there's no way for you to win.
Right.
Which in business is not, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but then, you're going to make more money if you can make a win-win relationship with someone, because then they're more likely to, give you stuff. They're more likely to send you referrals. They're more like, because you're making money, you're doing business together to benefit each other, versus saying, you know what, I want to do business with you, but I'm going to be, a freaking python, and I'm going to make sure I sting you as many times as possible and get you for as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not the way to do business. It's just not.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Gary talked about that with somebody before on his show, Gary V, about a guy who everyone wanted to do business with him because every time he'd have an idea, he would implement or incorporate the idea. But when he had to raise money, he'd always give more equity. So this guy literally, his whole career would keep 49% and give 51% to his business partners. So think about that. You have an idea, you're good at implementing, you're good at making money, you have to raise capital, but you always undercut yourself by majority. You give more percentage away to your investors and to your business partner. So naturally, people wanted to do business with him. He made a lot of money. People are like, hell yeah. Think about that reversely. Instead of being greedy, people would hop on that. Hey man, invest in my idea. I'm gonna take care of everything. Your money. We'll be business partners. I'm gonna give you more equity. What? Wait, what? You're gonna give me more equity on your idea? So, definitely not being greedy has its benefits, long-term relationship. And I definitely think that's key, being very fair in everything you do. I mean, there's times when me and Wally talk about, stuff all the time, and, he'll, want to be like, oh, like 50-50. And then I'll be like, dude, no, like you're doing this and you're doing that. And, why would I take 50% when you're doing like this and that? Like, that's your thing. Like I would just take less commissions because I'm a very fair guy. I think that's key for people is don't just make everything about you. Do what's fair for, your partners, and you'll have like a very long lasting relationship and opportunities to make more money. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, think about it. I mean, like, okay, let's take it from a bare minimum example. Let's say Dylan, or let's say whoever, let's say Susan. Me and Susan are doing business together, okay? And Susan, because of her network and her referrals, and me and her have done business together, now I've grown my business from 6 figures to 7 figures. You think I'm not going to help Susan out for the rest of her life?
Right.
From a business standpoint, you know what I mean? Like if so, synergistic partnerships where you both grow each other, like that's like and then you're going to continue to help each other out, and then now that just like fills your pipeline with more business. So it's always advantageous to do a win-win, always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And like I said, what people say is also red flags. If you just talk bad about people all the time, and which I think that's a topic in our book, 9 Ways to Be Unlikable. So if you haven't read our ebook yet, there should be a link below, knowledgeboner.com/ebook. Definitely read the 9 Ways to Be Unlikable. Make sure you do not do those things. But if you see anyone doing any of those 9 things, I highly recommend that you do not become business partners with them. Those are definitely huge red flags. But one is just not. So me and Wally have had that experience with obviously business partners in the past, but at the same time, we don't just go on a rampage of shit talking and talking bad about people, and we take it as a learning experience. But likewise, you never know. On the other side, those people could be, saying things about you, and that's okay. You just got to know. You just got to look for those type of red flags in people. So if you just meet somebody and then the only thing they're doing is just talking bad about other people that they've done business with, to me that would be a huge red flag from the get go, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I got another red flag right here. It just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big one. The friend guy. That is the biggest red flag especially for you new entrepreneurs, people who are just starting, and like you're trying to get a business partner and whatever, you have a friend and he's like, you know what, man, I'm friends with so and so. I'm friends with so and so. I could get so and so. I could get them on it. I could sell it to them. Oh yeah, I know this famous guy. We went to school together. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's like that guy that's always like, oh yeah, I know them. Yeah. He wants to seem important, right? And the issue with it is it's that he can sell everybody on the idea that he's important because he's told so many people. But when it comes down to executing and actually getting those people, I would venture to say that he would not be able to do it.
Yeah.
I would venture to say.
Yeah, guys. So
So don't let someone convince you of more equity. Don't let them convince you to have more percentage equity, whatever, because of connection. Because until they actually bring those connections to the table and you've met them and you can shake their hand, then it pretty much means nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if you're listening to this, guys, and you want to, dive into business, and let's say you're new, okay? So if you have no skills and you have no experience and you just have an idea, I want you to understand all you fucking have is an idea. Okay. That's it. You in your mind, you can be like, this is a great idea. It's going to be blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean shit. So if you know that you have no skills and that you just have an idea, it doesn't make sense to just go to somebody else who has no skills, right? So, maybe you're a beginner and you want to learn, you just have this great idea, but you have no fucking idea how to implement or execute. You go and try to find a business partner who is not levels above you, levels above you, that has like some fucking skills. You have to realize that, cool, you're 50-50 with somebody that can't execute on shit. So you have 50% of nothing, zero. Like, guys, let me say it again. Let's say you wanted to be a greedy asshole and you wanted to go somebody be like, oh, this is my idea. You're going to get 10%. I'm keeping 90%. You have 90% of fucking zero. You have nothing. There's no value that they're bringing to the table. There's no value you're bringing to the table. So don't be arrogant and don't get to the point where you're like, okay, just because you have an idea, like that's nothing. That's shit. Tons of people have ideas. If you're going to go to somebody who can actually help you implement and they have way more skills than you, at that point, you need to give up more equity. Be smart about it until you're able to learn and hone your own skills and learn from that person. Somebody who's successful is not going to be in the business of growing your fucking business for you. I can tell you that right now. That's one thing that, is very irritating to entrepreneurs who have done something is, understand from their perspective, you're basically saying, grow my fucking business for me. Like you're shortchanging them and you want them to just build you a fucking business, and they're not going to do it. Anyone that's smart's not going to do it. If they're actually a legit entrepreneur and they're good in business, they're not going to do it. So I think that's key. Just always remember 50% of zero is zero. Find people who are more successful and they have skills and see what you're bringing to the table compared to what they are. You have any thoughts on that as well?
No, I agree with you 100% because if you don't have any base skills, I mean I did that exact issue. Like my first couple of business ventures, it was me and my buddy, and we were like, okay, like we're gonna do this. Okay, well, neither of us had ever done anything we were trying to sell before. So not only did we have to learn it, we also had to sell it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the reason why I developed my skill set, the way it is now is because I was the one that learned how to do it. And the partner at the time didn't learn how to do it. He learned how to sell it. So, So that's, that's basically it. Fortunately for us, the issue was it came up later, but at the beginning, we both had no skills. So we were okay doing it together. But if you really want to get a start, like if you want to go in your business, then you need to get someone who has some experience first.
Yeah. And if I was listening, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, let's say you're in sales and you love sales and you have no idea. Let's just say you suck at ideas and you don't know what kind of service to implement, right? And you have a buddy of yours that you do trust, someone and let's say they do have a unique skill set. Let's say it's like IT, or maybe they just build websites on the side, but you're good at sales and you're okay with talking to business owners. If you know that you're good at sales and you're willing to put it into work and you're going to offer sales to the table, then you can literally go to someone, your buddy, and say, hey, man, let's be 50-50 partners. You love building websites. If I find people that will pay us money, would you build the websites? I'll handle all the sales aspect. I won't step on your toes. You do your thing. You don't step on my toes. Let me do the sales. That's a win-win scenario, guys. Now their skill set is like, hell yeah, I don't have any sales experience. I don't know anything about business, but I like building websites. And then now you have an idea, you have a product and service that you can deliver to a customer. All you have to do is just sell it. That's it. Find business owners who need it. Boom. Your partner does his job. And then, as you scale and implement the business, then you can start outsourcing and hiring. All that's a different conversation. So you just got to ask yourself, what's your unique skill set that you have? And if you don't have sales, and somebody that you trust that does, maybe they're in a sales position, go to them with the idea. And again, be fair. Be like, look, man, this is my idea. You have sales experience. Let's do this. I'll handle the front load of doing this work. Can you find people who will pay us for this? So, that's what we mean by kind of like finding the skill sets. But at the same time, do it with somebody that you trust. It's not going to screw you. Think of business as a long-lasting relationship, not something like short-term. And and hopefully you'll have other business ventures and opportunities, in the future. So I think today was definitely a good topic. It's even for us, it's kind of sometimes salty and painful to talk about past experiences, but that's what's really great about this podcast is we're careful about our words, but at the same time, you guys listening, you can tell, we've had our fair share of experiences, and we definitely want to share those things with you, so you guys
don't make the same mistakes. Exactly. Don't make the same mistakes as us, please. Please do not, because you're just saving yourself a headache. I mean, I don't, me and you, I don't really view ourselves as very old. You know what I mean? But had we not made those mistakes, how much further do you think we would have been by now? You know,
Um,
how much headache did you get? Like for me, I know like I dumped a lot of time into a couple projects that ultimately I could have ended months earlier, but just for sake of me wanting to save the relationship or whatever the case may be, I stayed on for longer. So it's just kind of like ooh.
yeah, I mean, I know we see it as like wasted time, but at the same time, if it didn't happen, the positive of it is it forced us to learn new skills. Those experience that we have, like, I don't think if you didn't go through that, I don't think you would have the skill set you have right now. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, because you probably you would have had zero desire to learn the stuff that you have today. The opportunity wouldn't have presented itself. And at the same time, I guess actually experiencing it ourselves and gaining that experience now, I feel like it would have happened later anyways. So I just see it as like, oh fuck yeah, we got it out of the way. Just like
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yep.
it's like dating. When you're young and you get those bad ones out.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's like
fuck, I went through the first few breakups and that was a shitty experience. And I learned a lot from that.
yeah, it's like girl you date, you really really like her, and then a year down the road, and then she cheats on you, and you're like, oh well, I'm glad that happened, and I didn't marry her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. So that's the marriage mentality. That's a very, very accurate analogy, actually. So that's definitely a mentality you guys have to have. So again, guys, keep posting in the comments. Let us know any other topics you'd like us to share, any personal stories. Wally's going to keep a lookout on Reddit as well for some more topics. And if you guys don't give us anything, we'll just kind of see what's going on in the forums or what majority of people are talking about. I hope you guys found this valuable today. I hope we didn't scare anyone. now that I'm thinking about it, like, I hope we didn't scare anyone out of, really trusting somebody or diving all in. We just want to just let you know of just look out for warning signs. Just be smart. Do not take risks with people. Okay, I'm not saying that. You have to take risks, and you have to look at it as, what, if I take this risk and it doesn't pan out, what's the good takeaway going to be from it? What in getting this relationship with this person now, obviously I haven't committed to anything long-term. I'm not marrying this person per se, but what takeaway is this going to force me to learn as a skill? So if this doesn't work out, what am I gaining from it? Did I gain a new skill? Like, there's something that I can still take away with me and carry on to future business relationships to where I'm going to be valuable as a business partner. So I think that's the mentality that you have to have, like 100%. And I'll let Wally close it off for us.
So as per usual, you guys can follow Dylan on Instagram at Dylan Starr Official. Follow me on Instagram at Wally_the robot. Same name on Reddit. I'm always posting on the entrepreneur or /r entrepreneur entrepreneur ride along. Sometimes on small business. We're going to be opening up the subreddit soon for Knowledge Boner for you guys.
Woo-hoo!
And we'll definitely keep you posted on that. Yeah. It's pretty exciting stuff. Yeah. So that'll be our own little layer to, like, comment and, build our own little culture there. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Right.
But yeah, guys, so, like, if you're on Anchor, if you're listening to us on Anchor, leave us a voice message, tell us what you think. If it's awesome, just say, hey, you're awesome. If you say you suck, at least tell us why we suck. Right.
Yeah, please. Yeah. If you guys if you guys think we suck, go find us on Instagram. Okay. Look in the link below, DM us, and hey, you guys suck, and tell us why. Give us constructive criticism, guys. Don't just be like, oh yeah, you guys suck, you blow. Like, fuck you guys. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback, but why? If you're gonna say something. Now, we haven't received any negative feedback, but we're open to it. We're open to it. So
yep, I agree with that.
All right, man. Wally, thanks so much for your time, man. For taking the time today to podcast and help me add value to the listeners. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day.